Inshallah, the first question that that our audience would like to ask is, what happens when your parents are a reason of your depression? Who do you go to then?
That's a very good question for whoever had asked that. So if your parents are the reason for your depression, I can imagine there's probably some form of abuse that's going on in the home, whether it's emotional or verbal abuse, which is definitely not okay. If your parent is the one that's causing you pain and suffering, seeking help from a licensed professional counselor. If you don't feel comfortable going to your school counselor, talking to maybe a teacher that you feel close to, comfortable to, you're confiding in. Maybe there's a mentor in your community, somebody that you feel comfortable approaching. Mashallah, we have lots of amazing scholars in our community as well. They're always available. Mental health professionals, so seeking guidance from them. But just know that there are resources available, and if it is a loved one, a family member that's causing that pain, you should not be having to deal with that alone. Talk to family members too. Maybe there's an aunt, an uncle that you feel comfortable with, and you don't have to say that it's so-and-so that's causing you this pain, but talk to them and see what kind of support and guidance they can give you.
So our next question. I have a 13-year-old brother, and my parents are worried sick about him. We've always prayed at Jama'at at home. Quran and education have been a part of our lives since day one. Recently, he has refused to pray, read Quran, do homework, and all that good stuff. Behavioral issues are frequently at home and outside of home. Is there hope? Is this a phase? What should we do?
Older brother is asking.
Older brother. So, older brother finds the younger brother falling off track, right? So, is it a phase? Many youngsters go through that phase, right? And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us, but all of y'all being youngsters will come to a crossroads where you have to make some choices. And with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by having good company around you and firm faith, you'll make the right choice. But shaitan gets to something still. Shaitan will always make sure someone falls prey. And the slip happens. It's very important for, especially an older brother. An older brother is someone who is looked up to. There are a lot of hiccups between brothers, but at the end of the day, the younger brother should and does look up to the older brother. That derailment should not be a means of furthering the gap between the relationship of those two brothers. That is a very important time to quickly, if you're the older brother, to suck up all of your differences, put all of those things to aside, and get close to the brother. Get close to that younger brother. Because one of the reasons of someone slipping off spiritually is, and then that leading to sins, is not finding their spiritual place and fulfillment under the roof that they call home. So when that goes unnoticed, and when one doesn't find love, then he goes to please other circles. So one important thing is, as an older brother, bring him very close. Inshallah, it's only a phase, right? And always remember that for the older brother and for the younger brother, if Allah got you to it, then He'll get you through it. So whatever it is, if it's an older brother dealing with someone fallen off the track, or if it's a younger brother who has fallen off the track, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not the light at all the way at the end of the tunnel. Alright? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the light. And that light, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can redirect that light to His servant whenever He chooses. Right? So always make sure that you stay close and don't allow the brother, younger brother in this case, or anyone who's dealing with some type of spiritual low to feel like they're less worthy. That they have become less worthy in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? People are afraid of being judged. But the ultimate judge, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, never writes anyone off, never signs anyone off. His door is always open. So make sure that whatever load they're finding, that they may be in, offer support. If you're angry about it, if you're frustrated about it, like the question said, right? They had the upbringing, grew up going to Sunday school and all of those things. Right now is not the time for disappointment. Right now is the time to control the damage, stop it, and gently and compassionately direct that person back towards spirituality in the right way.
So the next question is a two-part question. How do you know if you have anxiety? And on top of this, when that anxiety and depression makes you lose faith, how do you convince yourself to just get up and pray and continue on?
One of the ways that you would know if you have anxiety, it's kind of hard to have self-introspection when you don't quite see yourself, as others do. It's good to ask others if you seem different. Somebody close to you, if you feel anxious, which may be circumstantial, maybe it's when you're speaking in front of a large crowd, that's normal. But if you're feeling anxious at home, alone, or anxious during school, or feeling anxious constantly, you might have some issue with anxiety. I would write down the times and the circumstances involving your anxiety and share that with someone close to you. If you feel that that is more than just anxiety, maybe it could be clinical, definitely seek the advice of a counselor, licensed therapist, or someone in your mosque to speak to about that. But anxiety affects everyone in different ways. Some people live with anxiety well. I personally have anxiety and take medication for anxiety. But my anxiety is not so much fear of speaking in front of people. It's a natural tendency to feel urge to keep moving, not so much fear anxiety, but hypersensitivity to things. And also I suffer from test anxiety, so I don't know if anybody else does. How would you?
The Prophet ﷺ, throughout the course of his da'wah, especially the early da'wah, the Prophet ﷺ at many times was found under extreme stress and anxiety. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout the Quran, if you read Surah Al-Kahf, within the first 10 ayahs of Surah Al-Kahf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses the Prophet ﷺ saying that فَلَعَلَّكَ بَاخِعٌ نَفْسَكَ عَلَى آثَارِهِمْ إِن لَّمْ يُؤْمِنُوا بِهَذَا الْحَدِيثِ أَسَفًا. You're so close to bringing yourself to your demise. عَلَى آثَارِهِمْ, following these people's footsteps because they don't bring faith on the Word of God. So, everyone has their anxiety, their stress. In the Prophet ﷺ's case, he had a job to do, and the Prophet ﷺ was not seeing the results that he wanted. People rejecting the faith, and that was taking such a toll on the Prophet ﷺ that Allah said that you are very close to destroying yourself. You are very close to destruction. These words were words of comfort. Alright? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continued to, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was comforting the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam of what? For what? To take it easy. Allah was giving him comfort. So when you are faced with anxiety and taking the proper avenues, seeking the proper avenues of help through counseling, also surround yourself by people who will offer you words of comfort. Words of comfort, very important, right? I was going through the brochure that you have someone who seeks help and then the one who tries to help. So if you're that person who's on the receiving end of someone's news of anxiety, of distress, then offer words of comfort. Offer words of comfort. And definitely there will be a spiritual low involved, right? That was in the question too, right? How to come back from that spiritual low. To surround yourselves by people of what? Spirituality. The fact that y'all are here, y'all are associated with the masjid, with the community, it is a testimony of your faith and your spirituality. The fact that on a Saturday night, we are here learning how we can understand one another so we can help each other when we need each other. On a Saturday night, you're dedicating your time to that. That's a testimony of your spirituality. When someone finds themselves in a spiritual low and they feel like they can't go to the masjid, the solution of that spiritual low is to go to the masjid. Go to the masjid. There is a serenity and peace that comes in being a part of the jama'ah, of the congregation. When you're standing in salah, brothers and sisters, when you rub elbows with one another and you rub shoulders with one another, there's something about that that helps you spiritually. You feed off of each other's spirituality, energy. There's something about that movement and being side by side, shoulder to shoulder, foot to foot, right? Minimize the gap. Why you gotta be so snugly and tight like that? Because there's something about that, about being one of the links in that chain that gives you strength. So, if you find yourself in that situation, seek help and set yourself up in a way where now you have people helping you get back to the masjid, the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's something very, very serene and very special about the masjid, being a part of the community. So that's one way to tackle it, being part of the picture. Come and meet family.
I just wanted to add something to that, something that the Imam mentioned, but I grew up here as well. I know what it's like to be a youth Muslim American growing up in this society. I have to say one thing, alhamdulillah, you guys are so blessed at how massive this community has gotten. And like the Imam mentioned, that we have changed the way that things are. Back in the day when I was growing up here in America as a teenager, we didn't have workshops like these. We didn't have these types of discussions that we're having now in our masajids. So it's so amazing to see that. And like the Imam said, I just wanted to piggyback off of that, is take advantage of that. Take advantage of the resources that you have, and mashallah, I commend all of you for, like he mentioned, taking time out of your Saturday night to come here. Continue going to these workshops and taking advantage of the resources that are there. Alhamdulillah, because back in the day, we just kind of had to deal with it on our own. We didn't have the support, mashallah, that is available to you now. So I applaud you guys for being here and taking part in this conference.
Next question. Even if one is aware that they need mental health treatment, how can a youth dependent on parents in a household where mental health problems are so heavily stigmatized acquire the treatment that they need? And how do you cope with cultural parents who don't allow you to do things that kids your age normally do?
Yeah, the first one. Yeah. So repeat the first one. I'm sorry.
Even if one is aware that they need mental health treatment, how can a youth dependent on their parents in a household where mental health problems are so heavily stigmatized acquire the treatment that they need?
So the question is, in the household, the parents have a stigma of mental health issues, so there's a fear that maybe they don't want their child to get treatment because if they admit that there's something that needs to be addressed, there's a problem. Okay. That's very difficult circumstances, because there is a stigma. There's a stigma on those with that label. But first, we'll have to understand, as a community, we have to understand what mental illness is. A lot of people that I've worked with said, oh, well, I'm bipolar. Well, that was almost, ask yourself this, when you get the flu, do you say, I'm the flu? No, you don't. You say, I have the flu, okay? Because a flu is not part of your identity. But we've attached mental illness as a part of our identity. It's not a part of our identity. It's something that we have, much like the flu. We address it, we medicate it, we receive the help that we need for it, and then it goes away. And so with mental illness, sometimes it's more persistent. It depends on the illness. It depends on what type of treatment. Like I admitted, I have anxiety. So me personally, I go through seasons where I need medication to help regulate that. And then I get better, I get well, and then I'm off of that medication for a season. I have anxiety much like I get the flu, And so when I don't say I'm anxiety, or I'm bipolar, or I'm depressive, I say I have it, because it's not a part of my identity of who I am. So just as a culture, we need to start practicing that and how we address that issue and how we address mental illness as a whole. Because that's going to help destigmatize the home and the family. Now, personally, in that situation, it's hard. I would definitely want to talk to my mom and my community and talk with them about the issue of that and the stigma in the house. Because there may be a spiritual reason. I know in Christianity, and I'm a pastor, so I can only speak for my tribe, but in Christianity we see mental health issues as a spiritual problem. And so we want to spiritualize it. Say this child he's not religious because he's experiencing this. And so we want to blame that. And there's some shame attached to that. So I would speak with your religious leader, have that conversation, and then hopefully may address issues on that side of it. The other part of it is the actual stigma of, if I admit something's wrong, then we have to address it. If I ignore it, then I don't have to worry about it. Because there's fear. It's fear. Like, my child's normal. Nothing's wrong with my child. But if you know or you suspect something in yourself, I would definitely talk to somebody you can trust, okay? A counselor at your school, somebody in your community that you can trust here, a social worker, a licensed therapist, someone, and reach out. There's mental health hotlines, okay? And it's an easy Google search. And these resources are available for you in the community to where you can at least begin to understand and get some assistance in that.
I just kind of wanted to add on to that. I know it's difficult because these are your parents and these are people that you look up to probably, that you turn to for support. These are your caregivers and you want them to be there for you to support you through this. But we have to also understand that they're also human beings and they're not going to be perfect. They're going to have their limitations. They're going to have their own stressors and mental health issues that they might be dealing with themselves that they may not share with you. They're going to have their limitations, and so we're not going to be able to sometimes be able to change their perception of mental illness and seeking help. But you have to remember, you have to do what you need to do to take care of you. If you're not getting that support from your parents, you take action in your own hands, and like Pastor mentioned, going to seek counsel from somebody. If your home environment is not a positive environment, if it's toxic, if your family members are the ones causing you to suffer, finding that support network, and like we talked about, going to a licensed professional, talking to a mentor or a scholar in the community, or somebody that you feel comfortable talking to. But just remembering that, I can't imagine how hard it must be because these are your parents and you want them to support you, but they also have their limitations. At the end of the day, you do what you need to do to take care of you.
And just to quickly, just a reminder that there is a resource table at the back. It has a lot of numbers, a lot of different places, websites, phone numbers that you can go to, talk to, email. So please take a packet on the way out. It's free. There's no harm in taking one. You may not need it now. Your friends may not need it now, but you could use it in the future. So please take one on the way out.
Real quick, on your telephone, or your cell phone, you dial 211. That will take you to an operator at United Way. United Way, I know we have this in Tarrant County, I believe you have it in Dallas and Collin, but United Way can connect you with resources in your community. You may be on the phone for a while, but dial 211, and that's a directory. You get connected to an operator, and they help you based on your need, get you connected to resources.
Okay, next question. For those of us who are trying to help people we care about, and this is specifically in regards to addictions, how do we balance being caring and open so that they feel comfortable coming to us, while also being strict and calling out their BS when they're making excuses to cave in, with the fear that doing so would close them off coming to you anymore?
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
For those of us who are trying to help people we care about, how do we balance being caring and open so that they feel comfortable coming to us, while also being strict and calling out their BS when they're making excuses to cave in, with the fear that doing so would close them off to coming to you anymore?
That's a really good question. So if we have somebody that we know that is struggling, whether it's a friend or family member, so the question was, how do you show them that you care, that you want to help them without pushing them away? One of the sisters and I were talking about this. I guess one way you can approach it is when you're talking to your friends, just letting them know that you're available to talk. Just letting them know, hey, just checking in to see how you're doing, how you're feeling. I'm available to talk if there's anything on your mind, anything that's upsetting you, stressing you out, causing you to feel depressed. I'm here. It's difficult because you don't want to say something to push them away. Try to help normalize what they're going through as well. So if they're stressed out, telling them, hey, I know how you feel. I've I've been there. I've gone through something like very similar myself, and this is how I handled it, or this is something that a lot of teens or kids these days are dealing with. Again, normalizing the issue and reminding them that they're not alone going through this, that they have your support. I have a friend that's struggling with mental health issues right now, so I show myself to be available to her by just calling and texting her every day, hey, just checking in, how are you feeling, just let you know I'm here if you want to talk about it, and just approaching it in that way. And I hope that that answers the question. I don't know if Pastor, you have anything to add to that?
You can only speak into the lives of those that you have authentic relationship with. So relationship is the foundation on which we can have these conversations. Empathy is a tool that is used in order to connect with someone, to let them know that they're being heard and listened to. Confidentiality is something that lets a person know that they're not going to be judged and you're not going to talk about their stuff with others. So I'd also add, when you're meeting with a friend to talk about private, sensitive things, let them know that what you're going to discuss between each other is going to be private, unless one of two things. They want to harm themselves or they want to harm others. That is the only, I would say to them, if you're going to talk about harming yourself and you're serious about that, then I have to break confidentiality, I have to tell someone about that. But let them know this is private, it's not to be shared with our friends, this is not to be shared with other people unless you agree first that this is okay to share. The empathetic person is just listening. You don't have to exactly go through their exact situation. Everybody's situation is unique and different. Just let them know, hey, I don't understand, but I want to. I want to know. Tell me about that. And let them know you're listening, do active listening. Like right now, I'm leaning forward, I'm looking you in the eye, I'm nodding my head, I'm affirming, and letting you know I'm listening. And repeat back to them some things so they know you're listening. So you said that your mother is very condescending and rude to you. Is that right? Let them know that you get it. That's part of empathy. And so build up that foundation, and we'll have more insight into their situation, be able to help them better, and to speak to that. And once you build that foundation, when they're acting outside of their norm or they're doing something, you can call them out. Hey, listen, I care about you, but that's BS. That's not you. But also you have to affirm their identity. You have to say, you know what, that's not you. You're doing things that are not of you. You're, who they are. Call them out who they are. And call out the things they're not, but they're behaving like.
And build up from where he left off. A very important trait that you have to exercise in order to maintain access to that person, a level of comfort with that person, and at the same time bringing their attention to the fact that what they're doing is wrong. You have to be genuine about it, and they have to feel that coming from you. One of the things about one of the names or the titles that Allah has given prophets, and in particular the Prophet ﷺ, is Nadir. All right? Bashir and Nadir. The one who is the bearer of good news, and also the one who is what does Nadir mean?
The warner.
The warner. But the particular usage of the word Nadir, what type of warner? Scholars explain, they expand on that Arabic word of Nadir, that it is a warning that comes out of care and compassion for the one who is being warned. If you're about to fall into a ditch, I'm afraid that you will get hurt. I'm afraid that you will cause yourself harm. I'm not going to be like, oh, by the way, there's a ditch. Right? That feeling. And when you talk, when you show that sincerity, that when you see someone who is spiritually troubled, okay, You feel for them, what you said. Empathy. You connect with them. So to be genuine about it, and for them to feel that sincerity coming from you. That is what it means to be, to help someone. So comfort level, without pushing them away, has to do with the intention of being genuine. And then you also have to be tactical about it. You have to be tactical about it. You can't be haphazard at your approach. You can't let your emotions come in the way, because once that person feels threatened and that door closes, God knows what outcome that person may face. So you have to be very tolerant and forbearing and very sincere and very articulate in your approach. Now, wow, that's a lot to ask from a 14, 15, 16-year-old crowd, right? Or older. How do I figure all of that out? What I mean by genuine is what? Be real. That's in plain terms, be real. Let them know that you love them. Let them know that what you say is out of love. Let them know that it's out of love. It's out of love.
That reminded me, one thing I wanted to add is just going back on what Iman mentioned, being genuine, being transparent. Don't be afraid to ask those important questions. Hey, are you feeling depressed? Are you possibly having thoughts of wanting to hurt yourself? Are you having thoughts of suicide? Don't be afraid to ask those questions. Let them know that you feel comfortable with them sharing this information with you, because it's for the person who's struggling. They're feeling all sorts of feelings of embarrassment, shame. They don't know how to talk to you about it. And when they text you back or tell you over the phone, I'm okay or I'm fine, are you really okay? How are you really feeling? Again, just being transparent, being genuine, being authentic. Don't be afraid to ask those important, sensitive questions, because you might be the only person that they feel comfortable opening up to. So be transparent with them.
That's very good. Real quick, I know it seems almost scary that some people believe the mentioning of suicide might put that idea in somebody's head. That's false, okay? It's okay to ask, have you thought about harming yourself? Have you had thoughts of wanting to hurt yourself, kill yourself? It's okay to ask. You're not planning an idea. You're talking about something that people hide. And we don't need to hide those things. We need to talk about it and bring it out. Because if somebody's genuinely going through that, that might be a moment for them to say, yes, thank you for asking. I'm really deeply wounded emotionally and I need help. So Sister brings up really good points. That's really good.
If you have any more questions, you could possibly, if they're available, maybe for like 2 minutes after. If not, again, the resources table, there's a lot of people to ask. I'm sorry that we didn't get to everyone's question. There were a lot of questions, a lot of beautiful questions as well. But I think it's just been a very long day, so we're just going to call it for now. One more round of applause for our group. So, we will now do our last giveaway. Completely.
Okay, our $50 Amazon gift card giveaway. Same rules, 10 seconds to claim it. If you don't claim it, then it goes to the next person. The winner is number 307141. 141.
You have another chance.
307089. 307089.
Nope. Next.
307082.
Actually, congratulations. You are now rich. You have more money than me. Before we end, I would like to thank everyone here. One quick round of applause for all our volunteers. And I know they did not want me to do this, but I'm going to do it anyways. I would like to ask the committee that put this together to please come up to the stage. Please come up to the stage. Now, they were wanting to be humble, and mashallah, they are very humble human beings, but I also wanted to bring them up on stage to make sure that these are people up on stage, please, at the stage. Is at the stage. These are people that, alhamdulillah, again, we've been working since November to put this together, so I want you to please remember these people in your du'as. People that are not here, Sister Zeba, she worked very hard for this as well. It's her birthday too, so if you see her, say happy birthday. Okay, okay, Janine Tahir, can you know her? Thank her as well, she did a lot for us too. Who is not here right now, she also put in a lot of work. She did a tremendous job, so round of applause for her too. And Bushra Patan, she is currently in India. Same thing. Same thing, right? Anyways. Well, yeah, anyways, let's keep on with that. She is in India, Pakistan, whichever one right now. She actually sent us, she was very sick, but she sent us a picture of her at the doctor in our site.
Why are you exposing her like this?
Anyways, so she also did a tremendous job before she left. She's very sad that she cannot be here. So if someone can quickly record us giving her a round of applause. I got it. 1 second. Okay, push her a round of applause for you. And one more round of applause for these beautiful people up here. They did a tremendous job, so I'd like to ask to please keep on keeping your du'as. Keep everyone that works at this much in your du'as. Dusnia, if you could please stand up. Dusnia, she's part of our youth committee, and she also has done a lot. She's also done a lot for the carnival. So please make sure you sign up for her carnival and Fidder's carnival. They're in charge of it, so please help them out. Please keep us in your du'as. Yes. And right before we do our closing dua, I'm going to ask you to please close the mic. Sorry about that. Before you leave, if you can help us and help our cleanup crew, just each of you, if you can just pick up 5 chairs, put them to the side, it would help so much. Not right now, not right now. Give us a second.
We also have a huge round of applause for Adil for
Guys, this is a shirt, bro. You see this velvet? Okay, relax. Okay. Now, inshallah, if we can ask Sheikh Abdul please come up for our closing dua. Inshallah, we'll wrap this thing up.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمد ونصلي على رسوله الكريم اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم في العالمين انك حميد مجيد ربنا اتنا في الدنيا حسنه وفي الاخره حسنه وقنا عذاب النار اللهم حبب الينا الايمان وزينه في قلوبنا وكره الينا الكفر والفسوق والعصيان اللهم اجعلنا من الراشدين. O Allah, you are the most powerful. O Allah, grant us strength to overcome all of our anxieties and all of our challenges and all of the obstacles all ahead of us, O Allah. O Allah, you are the source of light. You are An-Nur. O Allah, grant us the light that illuminates the pathway in front of us in order to help us face, recognize, acknowledge, and understand, Allah, all of our problems and all of our anxieties. O Allah, you are the guide. Give us the guidance to navigate through all that you send our way, O Allah. O Allah, you are the most wise. Grant us